All right, let's do a little game. I know everybody likes these. Which one is more nutrient rich? We're starting out easy here. Any guesses? We'll just do right side or left side. What do you guys think?
Right side.
Correct.
Left.
Left. Yes.
Right.
This is a tricky one. I would say these are both nutrient rich, right? They both have relatively low fat, fish and turkey chili, right? They both have lots of good vegetables in them, and they have whole grains. So I'd say those are both nutrient rich. I got tricky on you, I'm sorry. How about this one?
Right.
Right. Brown rice versus white rice, that's a biggie. The further you refine something, the further you take it away from its natural state, the harder it is for your body to assimilate. That's the thing with white bread and white rice. Take it closer to what its natural state is. White rice is not natural.
Can you, along those lines, can you explain simple versus complex carbs?
Yeah, simple carbohydrates, just an easy example would be like a high sugar type of carbohydrate. Complex carb would be whole grain like bread, something like that.
So is the difference just in the physical, the way your body breaks it down?
Partly, yeah. And, well, the organic compound of the thing is entirely different too. But yeah, that's the easiest way to think of it, is that your body just assimilates it totally differently.
Is it complex? It takes longer time to break down?
Complex does take longer to break down, yes. And we'll talk about this in a second. That's a good question. You want both. You want both, especially around your workouts. You want a combination of simple sugar and complex carbs, because they're both good for you. You just have to watch your proportions. All right, last one here.
Left side.
Yes, left side. Whole grain versus, I'm not sure, oh, French roll. That's pretty easy there. Regular mayo versus light mayo. And the tuna sandwich, I'm not sure what that tuna is. Tuna versus turkey is probably a toss-up, but if it's that tuna, I'm not a tuna eater, but if it's the mayo stuff mixed in, that's probably not so good. All right, so just like we talked about, you want the combination of the complex and simple sugar carbohydrates plus low-fat protein pre and post-workout. And you have to time it right. Everybody's different. I can eat pretty much right before I work out and I'm fine, but my wife cannot do that. So and I've had a lot of clients that are kind of all around the board there. So if you work out first thing in the morning like I do, you have to think about that. I work out on an empty stomach and I'm fine. But if I worked out 3 hours after that, I would definitely have to eat beforehand. So then there is some advantages to working out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach if you can stomach it. Haha. So if you eat too close to your workout, you might be sluggish. That's again, this is an individual thing. I can't recommend anything there. You just have to know yourself. If you don't eat enough or you don't eat, you may have low blood sugar, especially if it's later in the day, which of course you're not going to have a very good performance if you're dizzy and faint and that sort of thing. So here's some quick examples. Yogurt with whole grain cereal, peanut butter and jelly sandwich on whole grain bread, low-fat cottage cheese with fruit, and like an organic granola. Those are all awesome pre and post workout. And there's a million things. There's great protein shakes, protein bars, that kind of thing. Any questions on nutrition?
I have a question. I don't know that it's on nutrition, it's on workouts. Isn't it better to work out in the morning before?
Well, that's a loaded question, because if somebody's going to perform better in the evening, I'd always rather them work out in the evening. There have been studies that show if you work out first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, especially cardio, you're going to burn fat a little bit more rapidly than you would in the evening. But, if somebody has a really bad workout in the morning and they have a killer workout at night, then I would always have them work out at night.
I guess any time is better than no time.
Exactly. And I have people ask me, what's better to do first? Is it better to do cardio first, or is it better to do strength training first? Studies show, again, that it's better to do strength training before cardio, because if you do cardio first, you're going to pull all your glycogen stores out of your muscles and you're going to be exhausted. But I've had people that won't do their strength training if they do their cardio first. So again, it is individualistic. It's performance, but then you have to know yourself too. So talking about aerobic and cardio training, we're going to talk a little bit. We talked last time about the basics, so we're just advancing the knowledge a little bit into interval training versus set pace, and then metabolic conditioning. So set pace cardio is just hopping on the treadmill and going for 4 miles per hour for an hour. and I put yawn. I mean, that is boring, if you ask me. Some people like it, great. Probably burn a lot of calories, fantastic. You know, and if you have an injury and that sort of thing, that might be appropriate for you. I like interval cardio. I don't like to work out as long. I like to get my workout done fast. Interval cardio is alternating intensity. So, for example, instead of just walking on the treadmill for 4 miles per hour for an hour, I can go for 20 minutes, and I can go full speed for a minute, and then walk for a minute. So I'm going to run as fast as I can for a minute, hit the button on my treadmill, and walk for a minute. Or I can do it outside. I can run down the street for a minute, check my watch, or just guess, and then walk for a minute. And I'll show you why that is a little bit advantageous, besides the obvious fact that it saves you time, and it's less boring, in my opinion. So, interval training actually leads to greater fat loss. Why? Because of this thing called EPOC. I just like to say that. I think it sounds cool. It's your afterburn. It stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. EPOC are the calories that you burn post-exercise. So like I said, just think of that as your afterburn. You have a bigger afterburn, after effect of your workout after it's over. So interval training generates a much larger EPOC, and that's just because the intensity is much higher. So, for example, interval training mixed in with some strength training, you get a huge EPOC. At the wellness program I used to work at, I would wear a heart rate monitor, and we had a lot of different activities there. Similarly with basketball, the spinning classes I used to teach, kettlebells, and playing soccer, I would burn about 1,000 calories in about an hour on each one of those. Try to do that in an hour on a treadmill. I wouldn't have been able to. I'm the same person, same height, same weight, blah, blah, blah. Those are all factors. You can't do it. And the benefit, or part of that is because of that EPOC. And part of it is because it's metabolic. It's not just straight cardio. There's strength portions on it too. So, if you think about basketball isn't just running down the floor or walking down the floor, is it? What else is involved in basketball?
Dribbling,
Passing, catching.
And one of the biggest
Shooting.
is jumping. Yeah, those are all strength types of movements. And so you just burn a lot of calories doing those types of metabolic things where you combine. And this is a age-old type of metabolic conditioning. Kettlebells, I don't know if anybody's seen this, they're kind of coming back into vogue, if you will. It's basically, people call them cowbells, but it's just a ball of weight with a little handle on it. And one of the main exercises is taking the kettlebell, taking it through your legs and throwing it up like that, and you're using your legs to push it up. But that's a metabolic move because you're taking it through a movement pattern rapidly, so it'd be like a 30-second take. So again, that's combining the intense cardio and intense strength training, and it also improves your storage of energy delivery too. So athletes really like it. Helps a lot on the court. These are a couple other examples too. At my Train Like the Pros class I did a few months ago, we played a game called Everybody's It, which is just kind of fun. We made a room, or a big square in a room, and everybody would try to tag each other, and if the other individual got tagged, they had to do 3 squat jumps. So you're running around trying to tag people, and then you stop and do squat jumps if you get tagged. So that's that metabolic thing. And then the push-up drill is setting cones apart about 40 yards, and you do 1 push-up at a cone, sprint as fast as you can to the other cone, do 2 push-ups, come back to the other cone, do 3 push-ups. So again, it's that combination of strength and cardio. So main takeaway from it, I know you probably aren't going to set up cones at home and do these drills, but there's a real big advantage to combining strength training with cardio. Especially if you have limited time, it's awesome. So, speaking of strength training, I like supersetting. Supersetting just means going from one exercise right into the next, be it another strength exercise or a cardio exercise. It also increases the intensity of a workout. Has anybody, myself included, done maybe some bench press or bicep curls or lunges and then stop for a couple minutes and then do it again? Yeah, I mean, and so you can just imagine that type of workout, especially if you're doing 8 different exercises, 3 sets on each one, 10 reps on each set, it's going to take a long time. So wouldn't it be cool if we could do the exact same workout in half the time and burn more calories and probably make more progress? I think so. So I like to superset exercises, and especially with opposing muscle groups. When I say opposing, I'm just talking about a push-pull concept. Chest muscles or pec muscles are what we call a push muscle type. We use those mainly when we do like a push-up, for example. Back muscles tend to be more of a pull muscle. So if I'm doing a standing row or a lat pull down, those are pulling type of motions. So what we like to do is we like to set up a superset with those opposing groups. A push-up with a row, and don't stop, if possible. And that usually takes a little time to get used to. But in the same workout that it would take to do those 8 or 10 different exercises, you can do it in half the time, and like I said, get a lot better workout. And I personally think it's more fun too. So combinations, these are common opposing muscle group combinations. And when we say opposing muscle groups, we're just talking about the countering or opposing group on the other side, typically. Bicep. The opposing muscle group to the bicep is the tricep. Bicep is a pull, tricep is a push. So that's a common combination. I might superset a bicep curl, say with dumbbells, and superset it with a dumbbell kickback. 15 of these, no rest, maybe even the same weight, boom, right into 15 of these. Guess what I do as soon as I finish my dumbbell kickbacks?
Breathe.
Breathe, drink of water. Yeah, well, hopefully we're breathing during the set too, but I like that. We would go right back into curls. And so let's do 3 sets of curls, 15 here, boom, switch right into kickbacks, 15 here. 15 curls. So we've got 6 sets done in 5 minutes. And I've gone to the gym, and I'm not saying anything bad about anybody, because I, like I said, used to do this too. I will finish 6 sets in the same time somebody finishes 1. Dumbbell bench press, 10, go right into pull-ups, 10, right back to bench press, 10, pull-ups, 10. I've done 6 sets. One person just did a set of bench press and sat there the rest of the time. Talk about inefficient, right? It's a much better way to work out. So these are some other combinations, chest and back, like I talked about. I typically put legs in its own workout if you have time to split it that way. And so with that, you would take a compound exercise like a squat. When I say compound, we're using lots of muscles in a squat, right? We're using our quadriceps, our hamstrings, and our glutes. So a nice big compound exercise like a squat, and I would pair it with an emphasis exercise with a muscle group that's not used as much in that squat. So a hamstring exercise, for example, like a single leg deadlift is a hamstring exercise. So I would just pair those two together. Does that make sense? Opposing muscle group supersets, push, pull. If y'all are interested in this, I love putting programs together. So just email me. I'd be happy to set one up for you. Because it's hard for me to go into all the details of this, obviously, in a short period of time. And again, I do promise, over break, I will get the advanced workouts on YouTube so you can actually see what those exercises are. And this is an example workout log. For me, this helps me kind of visualize it. Maybe it'll help you kind of give you an idea. So this is, I hope you can see this. The muscle group is chest and back. If I set up a program for somebody, I'm going to put it in a split. If you say you can work out 3 days a week, I'm going to split your muscle groups up into 3 different days. I wouldn't have you do a full body workout for 3 days a week. Boring. Not very productive. And some other thing that is lame. So chest and back. Combination here. Dumbbell bench press with a pull-up, and you see I left room for 1, 2, 3, 4 sets if I have somebody that has lots of time. So they would go dumbbell bench press, pull-ups, dumbbell bench press, pull-ups, dumbbell bench press, pull-ups, done with that. Hopefully in about 5 to 7 minutes. Dumbbell incline, bent over straight bar row, blah, blah, blah. Finish that in 5 to 7 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 minutes if you have somebody that's really cooking. And that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 3 sets. That's 24 sets. And let's say it's a half an hour. We'll say somebody has to rest a little bit. Half an hour and 24 sets. I don't know how much you work out, but that is cooking. That's a really, really efficient way to work out. You get a lot done fast. So we zoomed through 4 wellness topics really quickly, and some of that stuff is I think is really cool, really advanced, especially the dynamic warm-up stuff and the supersets with the closing groups. So it's right at 12, but I can hang out for questions if you guys have any questions.